Are we live? Yes, we are live. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The Shadow Council is back, bitches. So, greetings to all of you followers of darkness, shadow scavengers, and villain aficionados. I know the intro was a little bit, I would say, big and graphic, but I just wanted to know that officially we are back. Here I am, your good old Lord of Shadows, as always, alongside one of my favorite council members, TK the Lucky Bastard, here with me, and of course for episode 37. Again, I cannot believe we went this far, but here we are, episode 37 of the Shadow Council, and today this is one of the topics I thought was I wouldn't do on the Shadow Council like in a million years because I haven't heard this anime and manga like in a long, long time. But here we are with the wishes of TK the Lucky Bastard. We're going to discuss today Case Closed, aka Detective Conan. I know a lot of people know him as Case Closed, but I was always kind of familiar with Detective Conan. Simply put it. Now, to kind of give a quick summary for anyone who hasn't heard about this anime or manga at all. Basically, it was created in 1994 by a mangaka called Gosho Aoyama. I think I pronounced his last name correctly. And it's basically a mystery thriller type of story. And it's basically about this little kid, teenager, Jimmy Kudo or Shinichi Kudo, whichever you prefer. Who basically got drugged by a drug that is very complicated for me to spell it. And it's, if I remember correctly, it is fuck it. It's like an AXP or something 48369. I don't know. Jeez, it's a very funny spelling drug. Let's put it that way. Okay, so basically, he took a drug, and instead of killing him, it basically shrunk him into a kid. And of course, throughout that time, basically, he took the code name of Conan Adagawa, I think. And basically, he only had one goal throughout the entire story, and of course, he used to take down. Oh. Speak of the devil, Trevor. Look who it is. Yes. Speak of the devil. Well. It's my favorite two people on YouTube. Looking forward to checking out the show tonight. Well, look who came out of the cave. Oh my God. Our good old FRC. Oh man, it's good to hear from you, man. It really is good to hear you again.
Out of the cave. Out of the cave and right out of the bath.
Exactly. Must have been a really long bath. Yeah, must have been a really long bath, Mike. It really was. So anyway, to cut the story short, basically when Shinichi was turning into a kid, basically he took the identity of, he took the code name of Conan Adagawa, I think, and basically he spent the rest of his days kind of solving crimes and also trying to take down the organization who basically turned him into a little nippa, basically. And that's kind of basically what it is. Miss you boys. Well, we miss you too, FRC. We miss you too as well. Yeah. I hope that one day you will return to us. Yeah. Because as I said, the seed is waiting for you, still even today. But anyway, I mean, when it comes to the quick summary, did I miss something or did I say almost everything what is going on?
That's about right, although it's worth noting that when he takes the alias Conan, so yes. Before he was shrunk, he was dating a girl, Rachel, and her father was a detective, a washed-up detective.
And I think his name was Richard Moore or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a private detective. I do remember, and he was such an asshole, by the way. From the episodes I remember, he was really an asshole. Oh,
you kind of grow to like him though as the episodes go by.
For me, it took me for what I remember, it took me quite a while.
But he starts out like him. He starts out like the first couple episodes a pretty big ass. But the one important thing is that Conan winds up living with Rachel and Richard while he's Conan, and Rachel has. It's kind of like the Clark Kent Superman thing. Rachel has no idea that Conan is really Jimmy. Because Conan wears like a pair of glasses.
Yeah, but can I say something? Can I say something? Okay, how the fuck can you pronounce a name like that? A name like that? APTX4869. How the fuck can you pronounce that? Like, I mean, like it sounds more like a cheat code for a video game.
It does.
I mean, I was going to say to everyone here who's at least interested in watching that that's basically the name of the drug or poison that was supposedly tried to kill Jimmy Kudo or Shinichi. I mean, can I ask you one thing, okay? Just quickly before we go to other characters. I'm used to calling him Shinichi Kudo as well as Conan Adagawa. How are you used to calling him?
Jimmy. But I know Shinichi though.
Yeah, because Shinichi Kudo is like, I would say, Japanese pronunciation.
Yeah.
Of the name.
Yeah. You know, now something worth mentioning really quick while I'm thinking about it. So he lives with Richard and Rachel, and how he basically each episode, typically they're self-contained. Some are 2-parters, some are 4-parters, like the Phantom Thief 1412, which went on way too long. It was cool. I loved the concept, but it went on way too long. It should have been 2 episodes max. But anyhow, a lot of what Conan wears, his watch, his bow tie, his glasses, his shoes, are gadgets from Dr. Agasa. The shoes are like super strength shoes so he can kick things. The bow tie is a voice modulator, and he uses that most to impersonate Richard to solve the crimes. The watch is like a stun gun, which he uses to knock Richard out.
Those are the things actually I do remember, especially the stunt watch, basically.
Yeah. And then the glasses are just like a computer, they're like smart glasses.
I mean,
and his suspenders too are like kind of like stretchy suspenders, I think too.
Yeah, I mean, like basically, I mean, Jimmy Kudo or Shinichi or whatever, or Conan even. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna call him Conan. Like, I mean, Conan basically he is the anime version of like, let's just say, like I would say Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might say like, well, no, he's not exactly like Sherlock Holmes. There's, as far as I remember, there's a lot of elements in Conan's character that actually resembles Sherlock Holmes.
Well, that's where he took the name Conan from, was Sir Conan Arthur
Doyle. Yeah, the guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Like when you put like 2 and 2 together, it kind of makes sense. Like why the mangaka kind of basically took the idea of Sherlock Holmes, just simply instead of like putting him in the 1800s, he basically brought him into the 21st century, in a way, in the modern days and everything. Now, I will say this, like throughout the episodes, I know that the manga, I know first came the manga and then later on the anime, but I just want to say that from the episodes, I do remember, I always kind of found. I mean, Jimmy Kudo or Shinichi or Conan or whatever. I always found him like again at some points like a very typical anime style character. But there's a lot. But when basically he's investigating, when he's like trying to solve the murder, following clues, and basically seeing who's a suspect, who isn't, I would say that part of the character is basically not only what makes him me personally, where basically he taps into the unique mode, but at the same time, those are the parts that I always found him interesting, because like when he is, because I'll be fair, because when he is with his family or with the what they were called, the Junior Detective Club or something, or the Junior Detective League or whatever, basically when he's like with all his friends and everything, outside of investigating. For me personally, Conan was never that special. I was like, okay, like I mean, okay, he's an interesting character. So that the very first thing that kind of kept me interested for a time is basically his gifts of like solving murders or crimes in general and everything. I mean, don't get me wrong. Besides Sherlock Holmes, I've seen a lot because like of all the type of like crime investigation when it comes to like stories and everything. I've seen also a lot of elements from like characters like Hercule Poirot, from Agatha Christie inside Detective Conan. There were also some moments where he kind of resembled Columbo a little bit.
I can see that.
Yeah, there were even some moments where he even took like some elements that would, at least like for me, there were even some moments where he kind of resembled a little bit like. Again, I'm going on maybe for some people they were feeling like what, but there are also moments where he reminds me of Miss Marple, like who is another Agatha Christie character.
Okay, I can kind of see that.
The point I'm trying to say is that besides Sherlock Holmes, Detective Conan as a character or Jimmy Kudo, he basically has elements not simply from the main inspiration itself, but at the same time he has a lot of different elements from different like famous fictional characters. Like I said, Poirot, like Columbo, and like many other different detectives I've seen from different like crime TV shows. But mostly out of those three. Basically.
Now here's something interesting. So I'm trying to remember. Yeah, anything. Okay, so speaking of Jimmy Kudo, his English voice actor is Jerry Jewell.
Yep, I think I read this somewhere in the credits.
He has 2 connections to Dragon Ball.
Really?
Yeah. First of all, he voiced the 4-star dragon in GT.
Really?
Now, I know mentioning GT, I'm going to get hate mail, so just please
send fuck it.
So just please send it all to, if you could pop his name back up, FRC.
Send it all to the address will be like in the video description down below. Yeah. Send it all to basically to unknown city called Nanya.
Yeah. Sorry about that, FRC. Anyhow, but Jerry also sang the closing theme, the English closing theme for Dragon Ball Z Kai.
You're kidding.
In the first season.
You're kidding. I mean, look, when it comes to anime, I'm more of a Japanese, voice acting kind of guy. I'm not a big fan of dubbing, but it was still like I'm still like amazed of like when I learn information like this and everything because go ahead.
But this is even more mind blowing. So George, you mentioned the junior detective agency. George is like the heavier set kid with like the voice.
It's actually. I checked one more time because it's actually Junior Detective League, but
Junior Detective League, yeah. And George is the one who's like heavier set. He wears a sweater. His voice is kind of like nasally. So you're never gonna guess. So his voice actor is the same voice actor of future Gohan and Cell. Damian Clark.
Wait. The guy who voiced Cell, who basically sounds like this, is voicing that fat kid in Junior Detective League.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I was like, oh my god! Now it's in my head right now. I have that kid basically talking like this the whole time.
Well, and Chi-Chi, Cynthia Crayons, she voices Mitch.
Wow. So there's a lot of like familiar like Dragon Ball crew voice cast in Case Closed.
Yeah, in fact, one of the members of the Black organization we meet in the first episode.
Yes, the Library of Drinks.
I forget which one he is. It's either Vin or Jin. It's one of the two.
Describing the characters, how they look like.
I'm gonna look to see if I can.
Because Jin is the guy with the long hair. Vermouth is the girl, is the woman, Rum is the second in command. The guy with the glasses, I don't know which code name he had.
Let me look and see. He voices Vodka.
Vodka. Okay.
Chris Sabat.
Okay. Chris Sabat. Because wow, because that I'm familiar with that name.
The only person I don't know, I'm sure he voiced in Detective Conan. I'm just going to look to see. Oh, now who was Kabuto in Detective Conan? Kabuto.
Kabuta or Kabuto?
Kabuto, I think.
Let me see. Wait. Okay. Suppose Kabu.
Ah.
Are you sure it's Kabuto?
Yeah, Kubota.
K-U-B. I'm trying to find, but I can't find it. Anyhow, moving on. Moving on.
Okay.
Yeah, because like if we try to search for the character or the voice acting, for the voice actor, I think like we'll be here all night, or should I say, in your case, all day. Yeah. Okay, but I will say this: like even though Jimmy Kudo or Shinichi or Conan, because even now I'm lost. Like, how the fuck should I call him? But basically, like I would say, even though he has props and elements of like, which kind of makes him a very like traditional anime type of like character. I would say, like, there are still a lot of elements in his character that I always found like to be iconic. That kind of puts him in the rank of like, with for example, Monkey D. Luffy or Goku or like or Naruto or like characters like that. Like there are some like qualities inside him that it kind of makes him unique. Kind of basically that basically keeps a certain spotlight on him in a way. Because like I said, even though he was based on Sherlock Holmes, not just with the name, but the character itself, but I still say like there's a lot of there's a lot of different elements from different like famous detectives in fiction.
Yeah.
That basically Conan has inside his character.
Yeah.
Especially
it's interesting with him because it's interesting with him, and I like to go back to Dragon Ball a lot, but it's interesting with him and Dragon Ball because the overall concept for Detective Conan is sort of similar to GT in that like both have like the main character getting shrunk into a kid and dealing with like the consequences. Now, I mean, one is a detective mystery show, and one is of course Dragon Ball.
At least in Conan, I will say this. I'm sorry, but at least in Case Closed, they at least explain how he was shrunk and when.
Yeah.
In GT, they didn't explain that much.
Yeah. Well, my only criticism of Detective Conan is sort of the same as Dragon Ball GT. There hasn't, at least yet, been a real resolution to, like, they haven't like undone it. Like there hasn't been like a real like end game episode, and there wasn't like with GT either. That always bothered me with GT is like they left Goku little and like we're expected to believe he just grew up again. That's what I think. That's what I think Diama did extremely well, is they at least had like an end episode where like everything was fixed.
Okay, okay. I just want to say that, my friend, is a bit debatable when it comes to the ending of Dragon Ball Daima. It's a bit debatable because there is some stuff that Daima retcons actually a bit. But also with Dragon Ball GT in a way, it does have an ending in a way. After the entire after the battle against Saint Shenron and everything, like there is an ending, basically. I would kind of call it like a bittersweet ending. But Detective Conan, okay. If you permit me,
Mm-hmm.
Here comes my rant. Okay. So apart from One Piece, which at least has a story and you know where it's going, Case Closed has been spread throughout for 107 volumes,
Mm-hmm.
over 1,000 episodes. Like I think it's like 1,000 and I think it's like 1,100 right now. I think so. They spread over 1,100 episodes, and what do we have in return? No connection to the main storyline. We have bits and pieces spread all over 1,100 episodes, but very small amount. And some storylines were also extended, not in episodes, but in fucking movies that you have to watch so you can catch up, and basically not a story in which 98% is just simply Conan investigating other murders.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to the overall main villains, the main storyline, sure, we have some bits and pieces all over the place. But where is the ending? Like, there is no ending. There's no climax. There's no, like, okay, we're reaching to, like, to the finish line or whatever. Like, nothing. Like, oh, sure, like, they confronted the black organization, like, at one point, But then, okay, now everything is okay. Everything is fine. We go normally. How can you go normally? How can you go normally? Like you have the main bad guys right there. And they're like, oh, well, let's go back to normal murders. What?
It's a cool.
I'm like, and also, okay, go ahead.
I love the concept with Case Closed. I mean, I really do.
But it's too long.
Yeah, it just they drag it out too long.
I mean, I've seen other like mystery crime solving like TV shows who basically the type of storyline that Conan possesses. I've seen a lot of different like TV shows where basically they solved the entire main storyline way more quickly.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the other thing. Rachel is a very smart girl. How is it that she doesn't realize? Because essentially Conan looks exactly like Jimmy, except he's small. How is it that Conan's been living there all that time and she hasn't realized that's just Jimmy with glasses?
Yeah, because like if you look at the teenage Jimmy Kudo and Conan, they're not that different. Like no. They're really the same. I mean, it's literally the Clark Kent Superman scenario all over again.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, okay, Conan, like Jimmy is a kid, and all that's fine. He's glasses and everything, but he still resembles his old self. And like, I agree. Rachel, who basically has a crush on him, like she never figured out that they was the same person. I mean, if I remember correctly, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but there were some moments that I remember. There were some moments where Rachel kind of suspected there was something odd with Conan, and there's like some similarities between Shinichi and him, but it was never fully explored, and that was always my problem with Case Closed.
Yeah,
there's so many plot points in the story, not just simply that connect with involving like Jimmy's like origin story, but also like with other characters, like in this case the relationship between Jimmy and Rachel, the suspicion between the difference between Conan and Rachel, the overall connection with the black organization, like and all sorts of stuff. There's so much in it that basically, yes, we explore bits and pieces, and then basically screw that, we go to murders. And then they go all over again, some bits and pieces, and then back to murder, everyone. And I'm like, you can't do that. I mean, like, because I'm sorry, but the all the murder mysteries, they all feel like filler episodes to me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's essentially a whole show that's filler.
I mean, exactly. I mean, but besides that, like, as I've put basically here. When it comes to other characters, like Case Closed did deliver like some really interesting characters for the entire anime and manga. I mean, like besides the Moore family, of course we had the Junior Detective League. There were also other characters who also were introduced in the anime alongside the also main inspector. He was kind of like interesting as well.
Well, that's one interesting dynamic as the show goes on, especially like in the first like iteration of it. The dynamic between Richard and Inspector McGuire, that's actually kind of a fun dynamic. I always enjoyed seeing those two together. I could kind of picture them like if they ever did a Case Closed spinoff, I could almost picture them doing like a buddy cop between Richard and McGuire, like pre-Case Closed. I would love to see that because I think that would be funny as heck.
One of the crazy thing I will add to this. One of the crazy things that I actually kind of remember from the anime is that there were some points which I actually loved, where McGuire basically suspected, like, is actually more the one behind solving those mysteries, because like there's a lot of moments where he basically is suspicious of like is he actually capable of solving any of this all this shit.
I think McGuire was a lot like Jim Gordon in Batman. I think McGuire kind of like knew, but like he never said anything. I think it's the same thing with Jim Gordon and Batman. I mean, I think after all these years, I think everybody knows Jim Gordon knows Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he either just pretends he doesn't or doesn't. And I think it was the same case with McGuire in Case Closed. I think he knew that Richard wasn't behind solving a lot of the cases. I just think he kind of like remained oblivious.
Honestly, I don't think he. I don't think he knew it was someone else. I think actually, at least from the entire story I've seen, I think like he actually thought that it was actually Richard. I think he actually believed it was him. I mean, sure, like having him all KO on the chair, basically sedated and everything, like that was not suspicious at all. Him like him basically being closed eyed and like this the whole time, and he's like talking and everything, and I'm like no, okay, that's not suspicious at all. Basically you hear his voice, but his mouth is shut. Like that's not suspicious at all. But okay, whatever. I'm kind of nitpicking here, but I mean, also one question: was there anyone actually who knew that Jimmy was Conan?
Yes. I think there were two, actually three. There was that lady scientist who came in later in the show that wound up being shrunk herself, who worked for the Black Organization and then turned on them. I think also Harley Hardwell, a rival but then turned friend detective, knew.
Wait, is that the guy who looked like a Latino?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I know who that guy is. Yeah.
And then
I think I remember him.
And then I think the Phantom Thief knew.
What about the scientist?
Yeah, Agasso. Oh yeah. So it'd be four people. Yeah, Agasso knew.
And the Phantom Thief actually knew?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, because it will make no sense that he goes throughout the entire anime like without anyone noticing that Conan is actually Jimmy Kuro or Shinichi or whatever. But I will say this: outside Conan, I mean, we can talk about the Rachel, the Moore family as well. But outside Conan, I want to ask you, like, what are the other characters that you found interesting?
I found Amy interesting. How she kind of had a crush on Conan, not realizing he was really like a teenager.
Yeah.
Part of me, I know that like Jimmy and Rachel are like the end game, but part of me wants him to stay a kid and end up with Amy.
Well, if the mangaka has like an actual plan of like when it comes to the overall end game, I think. Again, I have actually some thoughts about how basically Case Closed could actually end. So I will basically give you like a quick summary. But I think he will go back to his normal self. I don't think he will remain a kid. I think he will go to his normal teenage self.
Yeah, I think he almost has. I think if they're going to end it, I think they almost have to do that.
No, I think that because the way how at least I remember the story, I think by the end, when Case Closed is actually finished, I think Conan will actually return to his normal self. When he was a teenager, I think in the story he was like 16 years old or something.
Yeah, that is, of course, that assumes they decide to finish it though.
I don't know. Like I really don't know. But the one thing I will say, it looks like with like how the story is going now with the anime, it looks like that actually with some like elements and clues I've noticed, it looks like that we might actually are going. We might actually getting like some like main storyline elements in the future.
Now
Like
that makes me think there's one thing I think we need to talk about. I didn't ever watch it, but I saw it, and I mean I don't think it was available over here, but they did a while ago. They did a live action drama of Case Closed, although I think it was like just Jimmy wasn't Conan. I think they were like adults. It was like before he was shrunk.
like a prequel. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, just like the clips I've seen of that, no.
Oh well, I mean, wait, was it like Japanese production or someone
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, I think it was Japanese production.
Oh well, look, I never heard of it, so good for me.
Yeah, adapting anime, although I will say, Case Closed is one of the animes I think you could easily adapt to live action.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But here's the catch. Here's the catch, and I'll be honest here with you. Case Closed. Even though like throughout history of television, we had so many mystery, crime solving, murder type TV shows, like so many for the history of television, and Case Closed could easily be part of that club, basically. Like like you said, Case Closed could easily be adapted, but still, I don't think Case Closed will be an adaptation. I think that you will see being adapted, for example, in the U.S.
Yeah, I would doubt it in the US. I mean, so Case Closed over here, it used to be on, so they have like a not redub, but they have like a continuation of it on Netflix, and like the cast is like completely different. They pretty much gave it like the whole Pokemon treatment, which
yeah, I get you.
that always ticked me off. But so it used to be on. Oh boy, I'm going to date myself. I'm trying to think how long it's been since it's been on. It was on Cartoon Network as part of Adult Swim, for years. I think it used to be on opposite Lupin and the Third.
By the way, I just want to say very quickly, I love the crossover.
Yes.
That because honestly, Lupin the Third and Case Closed, they perfectly fit in this world. So and even though I'm not a big fan of crossovers, but I will say that Lupin the Third and Conan, that crossover for me was almost perfect.
Yes. Yeah. I personally like that too. But it was used to be on Cartoon Network, like I think 3 in the morning. And I used to
when
3 in the morning.
You're kidding?
No. So I mean, it was doomed from the start being on at 3 in the morning. But I used to have a TV that like I could like video like use like a VCR with, so I recorded episodes, and then there used to be a store at our mall, Suncoast, and they had like Case Closed DVDs, so I got a couple of those, but it was never really on like in prime viewing time here, and it didn't really last all that long on Cartoon Network. I think it lasted longer releasing DVDs and movies, but it didn't really. I don't know. It never really took off over here. I mean, even as an anime, it never really took off.
I mean, for me personally, like I used to watch anime when I was like in elementary school. I used to watch anime on the Italian TV channels, and they used to play Case Closed or Detective Conan like around 1:30 p.m. like in the afternoon, basically right after school. And basically me and my sister, we used to actually watch Case Closed together, and we actually we almost never missed an episode. But the only main problem I always had with the Italian channels, the way how they basically put in this case like Case Closed episodes like live, is that they never went chronologically. Sometimes sometimes they will release them episodes basically that happen way after a certain episode, or sometimes they will release episodes that happen way before the episode, for example, you've seen yesterday, basically. They never actually went chronologically with them and everything. It's like basically, it's like they have like a roulette or something that basically they basically play, and they're like, okay, today we're going with episode 548. Okay, yeah, this will be the one. Well, okay, and basically they put that episode on, and again, I'm just messing with, but it kind of makes you feel like that in a way. At least when I watched it.
And it's weird too, because there were like Toonami blocks like in the afternoon that I was always surprised it did not get on that. I mean, like, to give you context, what actually did better over here than Case Closed, I think it lasted longer over here. I mean, not much longer, but Zoids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Case Closed, I mean, I don't know if it's that they didn't really want it to work out over here. I don't know what it was, but it never really caught on. I mean, I personally got really into it. I kind of like the whole concept of like him being shrunk. I mean, I like the overall idea. I don't know, it kind of, for whatever reason, it was really junior high that kind of I really was into it. But I really got into it. I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, like the reason why I liked Case Closed. First and foremost, I immediately, when I was in elementary school, I immediately became a sucker for anime. Like I really liked the style, the creativity, the designs, the characters, the overall world building, and everything. But I was kind of always a sucker when it comes to murder solving mysteries. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the reasons why I actually liked Case Closed. Also, I will say this: when it comes to let me tell you a little story how cartoons worked, for example, in Italy. The crazy thing about it, because usually when you have TV shows, like when it comes to, like in this case, animes like Case Closed, when they usually play in different countries, what usually happen is basically you have like a dubbed version of the intro they have used, for example, either in Japan or they released in America. In Italy, they actually do their own intros. They write and they play their own songs. They write that basically they have created specifically for their shows. Like I'm gonna send you some of the links for to give you an idea. But basically, every single song for a cartoon that was dubbed in Italy, if it's like an anime or a normal cartoon, they always had kick-ass intros, like they were actual songs. Like basically, what they did was they took scenes from many different episodes, they put them together with a little mixture of like the actual intro, and boom, they dropped in the actual song. Like that's one of the things I loved, like Italian dubbed cartoons, because they had kick-ass intros, and they actually like hired like professional singers to actually sing those intros. I'll after we finish with the live stream, I'll send you some links. Now I don't know if you know Italian.
No, but that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the most infamous singers when it comes to like singing songs from like cartoon intros and everything, there's a singer called Cristina D'Avena. She's like a very famous Italian singer when it comes to like cartoons and anime. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there are a few others, but she's like number one.
Oh, that made me think. Speaking of theme songs, the third Case Closed opening in English. Guess what Dragon Ball actor sang that?
If you're gonna tell me Goku, shut up.
Goku. Stephanie Oleni. Stephanie Nad Oleni. Stephanie Nad Oleni.
Shut the fuck up. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You know,
I'm surprised. I really am.
Thing is, a lot of these voice actors, they actually have pretty good voices outside of voicing characters, like actually singing. They actually don't have bad tones at all.
Looks like they've taken night classes from Jim Cummings.
It's Jim Cummings. He's like a chameleon.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Looks like that those anime dubbing voice actors, they've taken classes from Jim Cummings.
Well, I mean, in Dragon Ball Z Kai, Sean Schemmel sang the first and second season like extended theme songs.
Gotcha. Yeah, I get you.
But no, that's interesting about how the Italian dub does, or how Italian cartoons do like their own theme songs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like they do theme songs. I mean, like I said, they're made specifically for those cartoons. If we're like talking, for example, if we're talking like Batman the Animated Series, or Superman the Animated Series, or Case Closed, or One Piece, or Dragon Ball. Oh my God, I'm gonna send you the link for the Italian intro of Dragon Ball. You like oh my God, I'm gonna show you for Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT. Very powerful songs, by the way. And many different others. Like it's just so creative. Like I said, they could have easily used the original intros and the theme songs, but instead of that, they're like, you know what? Let's create our own songs. Let's write our own lyrics specifically made for these cartoons. Let's make our own music. Let's hire some talented singers, and boom, it's really great. It's absolutely, for me at least. Because, like I said, before I've seen all those other cartoons in original languages, I used to watch them in Italian dub.
The only anime I'm aware of that I think they do that with over here is Yu-Gi-Oh! That's the only one I'm aware of that I think the English versions are like completely like separate from from any other. I think Case Closed. I know Dragon Ball for sure. A lot of them. I think for the most part, a lot of them are like just dubs from but I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the only one that I know of that might be the same as the Italian cartoons.
But don't worry, after the live stream is done, I'm going to send you some of the links so you can basically hear the music and everything. Now, I mean, it would be much more better if you actually knew Italian, so you can understand the lyrics, But still, I think you will find the songs interesting. Now, before we actually go further, I just want to say that when it comes to other characters, the only characters for me throughout the episodes I've seen, the only characters for me that were interesting were the Junior Detective League, when he's like with the other kids. It's like literally watching a professional detective teaching like the other kids like they were like his apprentices or something.
Yes.
That's very cool. And especially a few of my favorite episodes are usually where him and the kids solve the crime. Where you actually see Conan himself, like Shinichi, actually explaining like the motive, how they did it, when they did it, and like it's like those episodes for me were always my favorites. Like, for example, I don't know if you recall this episode, but there was an episode where basically they were solving a murder that involves basically a certain video game that was basically created by someone else, but then basically this original creator basically either taped or recorded like this conversation on the video game, and basically the entire shenanigans was centered around this video game that they also accidentally have taken the kids, and everything. Yes. And basically all the time, you see them being hunted down because of this video game and everything. And then basically when they went to the office, they're like, "Hey, let's play this game. I mean, come on, just a little peek, let's see what it's gonna be all about." And then boom, they see the entire crime scene, and who actually killed the fucking guy was not. I think it wasn't the CEO. It was actually, I think, his secretary.
Yes.
Yeah, I just love that. Like, she came in the office with a gun. She's dressed up like a ninja, and basically, like she's trying to shoot him. And then Conan comes like a badass. He's like, I know what you did and how you did it. Like the motive and everything. Like, those kind of episodes for me were great.
Yes.
I mean, it's fine. Like when he's like sedating Richard, and basically, he's like telling the crime through him. But for most of the episodes, I'm sorry, but it kind of gets annoying. Like, for example, another episode I really liked. It was basically a murder that happened like in the woods in a cottage.
Yes.
And it had something to do with a comet.
Yes.
Or a star. Like it was the kids, it was Conan, it was the scientists. Like they were all together. And those kind of episodes for me were more effective because he really shows the genius behind his crime-solving abilities when it comes to Jimmy Kudo.
Well, you know what it occurs to me, the creators of Case Closed kind of rely on when it comes to Case Closed, the overall story and everything.
Yeah.
They rely on the same thing that the dynamic between Ladybug and Cat Noir relies on, and the same dynamic that the whole Superman Clark Kent relies on, which is the whole suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, and also another proof that sometimes you should keep you just have to concentrate on the main story and not just simply go all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go into you don't want to go into watching Case Closed like and analyze it. Because like if you go into Case Closed and analyze it, you're going to find so many plot holes. And you're going to find so many things that like are going to drive you up the wall.
Actually, what I would do if I would like, I would try to basically explore Case Closed. And if someone tells me like, oh, I really want to watch, Case Closed and everything, what I would do, I would literally go through all the episodes and I will basically write down the episodes that are actually story-wise important.
Yeah.
And I will give that list to my friends. He's like, here you go. Just watch these episodes and you'll be fine. Because and I could definitely see them like, why just this episode? Because I heard there are like over 1,000. Trust me, just those episodes will be enough.
I'd actually, if I were going to recommend anybody watch Case Closed, I'd recommend them watch it before they switch the voice actors in the dub.
Oh yeah, because I know that there are some actors who voiced them like from 1999, because that's when the anime actually officially started, all the way to 2009.
Yeah.
And then after 2009, some people were actually replaced.
Yeah. It's the same thing with Pokemon too. They did that with Pokemon too, which that always drove, replacing people in animes. First of all, there's a reason Dragon Ball has been so successful. And there are a couple reasons. One of the reasons is they've never replaced like the Ocean dub cast, the English cast. For the most part, they've been mostly consistent. I'm not even going to mention calling Clinkerbeard as Gohan, though, because, bad move. No disrespect to her. She is great as Rachel in Case Closed, but she does not work as Gohan. Terrible idea. But
I wouldn't go as far as say that they don't change them. What, for example, Frieza's voice?
Well,
they did change it.
Yeah, although I personally think Frieza's voice I personally think Chris Ayers was a little bit better.
Here's the thing: I prefer the original.
I like the original a lot, but I don't know. Chris Ayers kind of grew on me a little bit.
I get it. Also, can I ask you this? If the voice actor was actually younger, I'm just kind of building up to the question. If the voice actor was younger, do you think, for example, Frieza could be voiced by Mark Hamill? If he was younger,
I can kind of see that.
Yeah, if he was younger, like if he voiced him like in his late 20s to early 30s.
I could see them if they ever went for Dragon Ball live action again, which I hope they don't, but if they ever do.
No, I don't think they will.
I could see them casting Mark Hamill as the voice of one of the villains.
Who I can see, he's actually, when it comes to age, he's actually in that arena, but I could actually see Mark Hamill play Dr. Gero.
Ooh, that would actually be really cool.
Because age-wise, he's there. Because like Dr. Gero, he's supposed to be like, like in his 70s or 80s, I think. I'm talking before he turned himself into an android. Like he was supposed to be like in his 70s or 80s, I think. So, and Mark Hamill's like in his early 70s, so he is like now perfect to play him. But not to mention that you're gonna need a lot of stuntmen and CGI work on him because he's not a typical martial arts type of
that
actor.
would be great though. But no, case closed. If I were recommending any seasons to anybody, I would say before they switch to voice actors is where you want to watch. Because the new voices, they just don't do it for me. They just don't I don't know. They just don't work.
That's why I prefer watching Japanese voice acting.
It was the same thing with Pokemon when they switched over, especially Ash's voice and James's voice. Those two I just could not get used to.
I get you. Now, I just want to, before we go all over the place, and even though we already kind of started, but I just want to talk about a little bit about the Black Organization. Now, the Black Organization is basically the Detective Conan version of Spectre from James Bond. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
They're the Baroque works of Case Closed, basically. Now, as I like to call the Black Organization, basically the library of drinks, because every single fucking agent has a drink code name, from vodka, gin, vermouth, rum. Like, wait, I have the names right here. Okay, rum, gin, vermouth, vodka, Chianti, corn, Calvados, tequila, pisco. I think like the mangaka who created Black Organization, I think like he adores international alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean that's the Black Organization is one of the reasons why I love anime, because like it's a place where basically your imagination can go bonkers. Like if you put something like this on a piece of paper in front of, like, let's just say I don't know, Amazon or Netflix or something like that, basically, they will say no thank you, this like sounds stupid, but if you go to an anime production like I don't know, Toy Animation, for example, or Bandai, they're gonna be like, I think we can work with that. That sounds interesting. You know what? Let's go with this. I mean, seriously, when it comes to storytelling, I feel like if your imagination goes bonkers, I feel like the Japanese studios will be more than welcome to use it. But anyway, so the Black Organization basically is, from my memory, going down my memory lane. They're basically like a very typical criminal organization, right? Involving like theory, assassins, and things like that. Okay. So here I have another piece of renting, okay? And I'm not talking like renting a car. I'm talking about actual rent, like volcano erupting type of rent, okay? So you have the Black Organization. You have a leader that basically it took them from 1994 to 2017 to just get the fucking real name, which is Renya Karasuma. And even now, you still don't see him show up. The only thing we know is an old man who is 99 years old and who has an obsessive passion for crows. Because if you look at the fucking symbol of Black Organization, you see a crow. And that's it. Like a person that a lot of people think he's dead. Some people think he's alive. And that's where basically that drug goes into the theory. Because also there's a theory that Vermont, the lady, actually used it. Because she's supposed, if I remember correctly, she was supposedly in her 40s in the series, but she looks like she was like 29 or something.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who basically are talking about case closed, they make theories that, well, the reason why the guy is like 99 years old is because like he used that drug already.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you're familiar with the main leader of Black, but basically, like every time when we saw him, he was like in a fucking silhouette.
Yeah.
We never saw him officially. And only now in the opening number 59, we actually saw glimpses of his face, which basically makes you think like, okay, the guy has a nose like the Penguin, and he is old, bald, has long hair, I suppose white or gray, and he's like a little bit overweight, and he has like a cane and a crow. And that's it. But again, it's a fucking silhouette. So remember, when it comes to silhouettes, that doesn't actually mean that's how the characters will look.
Yeah.
Do you know, actually, are you familiar? There was also a theory that actually Dr. Anagasa?
Agasa, yeah.
Agasa, sorry. That Dr. Agasa, there's some people actually were theorizing that actually Dr. Agasa was the leader of the Black organization.
Ooh,
that he's actually the real Renya Karasuma.
That would be a good twist.
Yeah, but throughout the story, there are some plot points that kind of basically takes down this theory. But honestly, I just don't want. I know that Renya Karasuma is supposed to be this like mysterious character and everything, but first and foremost, for fuck's sake, like, why they have to need like this long for this like character to be so mysterious? I mean, seriously, James Bond actually revealed Ernst Stavro Blofeld much more faster than what they did with Karasuma.
Well, to be fair, it kind of reminds me of Pokemon, because it's been how many years and they still haven't actually outright said that Giovanni is Ash's dad, and everybody knows he's Ash's dad.
Okay, yeah, but still, we saw Giovanni. We actually saw him in person and everything. Now, okay, does that mean that the secret behind, like, is he actually Ash's father or not? No, that was actually never revealed. But we at least saw Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket. But for Renya Karasuma, nothing.
Yeah, no, that I get the wanting to build up to him. I mean, I respect build-ups. I respect that idea, but like you said earlier, with the overall, like, they just take way too long with this.
I mean, seriously, throughout the entire like 1,100 episodes, even actually 1,100 episodes plus more, they explored the fucking agents of Black organization way more than the actual leader. Like, the only thing we heard about him, at least as far as I remember, were basically his name revelation, that he was known as that person, and basically that he is the leader of Black, and that when basically the story is about like he's faking his own death like 40 years ago, and like some people think he's still alive, some of them think he's dead, like those kind of stories.
Mm-hmm.
We never, like, besides that, we never saw him. And that's crazy, because in 1,100 episodes, you could have gone from mentioning him to making silhouettes to actually introducing him, and also even making a major part of the main storyline. In 1,100 episodes, they could have easily done all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so I'm going with you. I mean, like, by the way, I just want to ask you, of the entire Black organization, I just want to ask you, like, who is your favorite character?
Vodka, I think.
For me is Vermont, the lady. She's kind of like, I would say she's kind of like a gray zone character. Like, she's not exactly evil, but she's not exactly good. And also, not to mention, I love the kind of relationship that she and Conan have, in a way.
Yeah.
I love that how she called him the silver bullet. That to be the one to stop the organization and everything. I mean, after all, they were the ones who were responsible for making him a kid. Especially Jin, because he was actually the one who dropped the drug down his throat.
Yeah.
Wait, did he actually drink it, or did he put it with a needle or something?
No, I think he actually drank it.
Yeah, because I'm not sure about that. But I want to ask you, like, I know that I was ranting a lot, but what do you think of the Black Organization as like villains?
They're interesting. I like it. I just wish they would do a more overarching thing with it. I just wish they like try to connect it more, as
Can
opposed to
I?
doing all filler. I wish they like try to like do more to connect it. Because I think the overall concept with it is an interesting one. I just don't think they're like doing enough with it.
I mean, here's the thing: the way how I could have seen Case Closed being done, like you could have easily, you could have easily started with like, okay, you start with Jimmy Kudo's origin. You know, you could either let's put it this way: you could either start with like seeing Jimmy Kudo as a kid, as Conan Adagawa, like he's with his family, they're solving crimes and everything, and then step by step you see there's something wrong with him. Like you see there's something odd with him, not actually wrong. There's something odd with him, and then throughout the story you could have easily introduced us to his like origin story, and kind of also revealing who he actually is, and which also means involving the Black Organization
Mm-hmm.
in a way. You could have either done that, or you could have immediately right at the beginning. You could have immediately revealed the origin. How he became Conan and everything. You could have done that as well, because either way, people will buy it. Either way, so you could have gone from that. Then you go like basically making Conan going on these adventures to kind of like solving different kinds of murder mysteries that have nothing to do with Black Organization, nothing to do with them. So you do a bunch of those. Let's just say 20 of them, or maybe 20 or 30 of them, because I think that'll be enough. You do like 20 or 30 crimes that involves murder mysteries,
Mm-hmm.
but then in one of those murders or crimes, you can bring in the Black Organization and their connection to it. And from that, the mangaka could have easily started like overall exploring the main storyline. Kind of like getting the Black Organization way more involved, and at the same time, not just simply to explore the characters, the agents, a bit more, also at the same time slowly revealing the main leader. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and which I kind of think like this Reina Karasuma guy. I think he's gonna be like a case closed version of the Penguin.
Yeah.
I can definitely see him like an elderly guy with a cane who has a nose, like a beak, basically, and like I said, like a case closed version of the Penguin. But instead of being obsessed with a lot of birds, he's obsessed with crows. I can definitely even imagine this guy living in a villa that is like somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my friends actually said, like, hey, maybe he's like living on an island or something. If we're talking about crows, then I think it's gonna be on land. And so my guess was like, either somewhere in a valley, like with woods and with woods and hills and everything, like on a cliff or something. Very typical kind of like criminal mastermind type of hideouts. Because there's no fucking way that this guy, whoever he is, there's no way that he lives, let's just say, among other people.
Mm-hmm.
But the way how they're building up, it looks like this Karasuma guy is like one of the most powerful people in the world.
Yeah.
You see, and that's another element that could have easily explored in a shorter time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
that's the big problem with Case Closed. It's too long.
Can I
and
ask?
like and the thing is, I love the concept. I think it's a unique concept for an anime.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is it's cool too, but it goes on too long, and like there are so many things like all those seasons. Like I don't know how we're expected to believe that nobody but the people I mentioned earlier figured out that he's Jimmy. I don't know how. The other thing is if he can't figure out a way to switch himself back like permanently, why doesn't he tell Rachel and just shrink her down?
Okay, that would be a little anticlimactic if he actually shrank her down. I think that would be anticlimactic. I don't think he would have done that. But I mean, seriously, like at least the way how I would have done case closed. Okay, like I would have made that Rachel Moore that she found out that Conan was Jimmy on her own. Like I don't know, like through she's either listening. Let's just say she either heard him talking to like his free enemy, basically, and like the guy mentions like Jimmy's name and everything, and then maybe somehow she basically she heard that and basically put like two and two together that Conan and Jimmy are the same person. So the point is, I would have made that Rachel found out that by herself, and then everyone else. I think the proper revelation, I think, would be if he actually reveals that, if he actually tells them personally,
yes,
that he's actually Jimmy Kudo, you know, or you can make that the villains reveal that, you know, like the Black Organization. You can make that they're the ones who reveal who he actually is.
Just imagine though. Just imagine if he reveals that he's Jimmy Kudo. Just imagine Richard's reaction to having his daughter's boyfriend living with them.
One thing for certain, Rachel will have so many questions over her head. So many questions.
See, I almost want them to reveal that now because I want to see Richard's react. I want to see how they handle that.
I'm telling you, I'm betting you anything. She would have so many questions and mixed feelings. Believe me, she would. Now, I want to ask you this one more question about the Black Organization. What are your overall thoughts about this Renya Karasuma guy, who's the leader of Black Organization? Like, how would you describe your own? How would you describe in your own way about like this villain? Like, what do you think of him?
So I'll be honest, I'm not overly familiar with him, but the bits and pieces I know, I like the idea for him. I think that I kind of agree with you. I think that like how long it's taken them to like actually show him like even silhouetted is way too long. I think building him up good. I like that. I mean, if he's like the big bad, if he's like the main villain, I think they have to build him up a little bit.
He is the big bad.
But I also think they have to have an end game. They got to figure out what they're going to do with him.
So my question is this to you: when it comes to Renya Karasuma, do you think he's like this typical like criminal mastermind who is rich and basically living in who's basically like living outside society, or do you think he's someone who is, let's just say, connected with politics?
I think probably the second one.
That he's connected with politics.
Yeah.
Honestly, I also agree as well, because think about it. The way how they're told these stories about this guy, first and foremost, it definitely appears that this guy is like very powerful, like that he's almost untouchable. Let's put it that way. It makes you feel that he's untouchable, that he is extremely rich, and also he has connections with politics. Like because some people, I've seen them on YouTube. Some people basically they describe him as like a very typical like criminal mastermind, kind of like basically being Conan's like Professor Moriarty type of like villain, who basically he's someone who is wealthy, but he lives a very secret life, like outside of everything and all that. But from what I've heard and read and remember from certain episodes, this guy is involved in a lot of different things that also involve the government. So I think like okay, I will say this. I think he does live alone, like away from everybody, but he's still somehow connected with politics.
Yes.
And the question is how. My personal opinion, I don't think he's gonna be like, I don't think he is like a governor or a minister or something. But I think maybe he's like a sort of Don Vito Corleone type of like character who's like, he's a villain, but and the way how he's connected with politics is basically he has let's just say a lot of different dirt on the politicians. I think that's kind of like the logical connection to powerful people. Like they either let's put it this way: he either has some dirt on them, or they're like basically they owe him favors. Basically he's the guy who every politician basically comes to do him a favor or something.
Yeah.
I mean, do you get where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So what I think of him is basically a criminal mastermind who has connection with politics, but basically the guy is a mobster. He's like a gangster or something. And honestly, I cannot wait to see him, like how he actually looks like, because like again, it's so the way how they're building up is way too long. A lot of people I can see them like losing interest. Which kind of also brings me to this, like when it comes to like case closed and everything. One of the things I love, which is kind of like actually kind of interesting idea, is basically every single murderer before it's revealed who it is, they all look like freaking ninjas. Like all shadowy, like like sometimes they make them look like ninjas, and sometimes they look like aliens, like all in black. It's crazy, but again, very clever way to kind of like tease. Okay, like so far the murderer is mysterious.
Yeah.
With so many question marks, you don't know who it is, but then later on it's like kind of like revealed who is the murderer, and then you see all the scenes and everything. You see, how it happened, but like this time with actual people. Again, it's bonkers, but it's bonkers in a good way. I mean, what do you think about that specific aspect?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think.
Which kind of brings me to this: did you ever thought of all the murderers? Did you ever found someone who I would say you found? Now, actually, let me rephrase this. Did you found of all the murderers in Case Closed? Did you found a villain that in the end you kind of felt sorry for him or pity?
That's a good question.
Like, was there any was there any villain? Like, let's put it this way: was there any killer that in the end, after revealing everything, especially the motive and all, did you ever find a killer that in the end you kind of felt sympathetic, like you felt sorry for him or her or pity?
That's a good question. I had to think about that. I mean,
I
think some of the killers you kind of did feel a little bit like it was weird. Like I would compare some of the killers, some of their motives to Thanos in Endgame or in Infinity War. Insofar as I think like some of them, I mean, killing is always bad, but some of them you can almost understand like why they did what they did. Yeah, some of them you can kind of understand why they did what they did. I think the one I felt bad for was the one that poisoned her stalker. She poisoned a can of soda.
I don't think I've seen that one, but anyway, go on. No worries about spoilers.
I think she's the one I felt bad for. But you kind of like their motives all kind of like that's one thing I always appreciated about Case Closed was like the motives for the killers like were never like really like far fetched, like all that could never happen. They were always like, oh, well, huh.
You see, that's the thing. I do agree with what you just said. That's the thing. That's what makes Case Closed a lot way different from any other murder solving TV shows that are out there. Way different. Because even though in most simplest like motives, this anime and manga in a way makes you feel sorry for the killers.
Yeah.
Because usually in a TV show like that, when the murderer is revealed, you're like, like, oh my god, like the reason what they did, like, okay, whatever, but they got what they deserve and everything. I mean, sure, there's some moments where like there's some stories where you kind of feel sorry for them, but everything. But Case Closed does it in a way, as far as I remember. Case Closed does it in a way that almost every single killer, you cannot, I'm not saying all of them, almost all of them, you cannot feel sorry for them. Even if like the motive is like very simple.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's like the dialogue or the moment or like the writing, but like it makes you feel, again, in simple terms, it makes you feel sorry for them, because it give you a very special weight that not a lot of murder mysteries would give you. Like it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain, but that's one of the reasons I think like Case Closed is special and very different from other murder solving mysteries.
They made it. I mean, the whole drug thing aside, they made it very realistic. I mean, or not realistic. They made it as grounded as they could. As grounded as they could.
Well, grounded, I wouldn't go that far, because there are some moments in Case Closed that kind of goes into that supernatural arena, and mostly involves the Reina Karasuma character. So I wouldn't call it very grounded, but okay.
Well, but they, I mean, for the most part, with the episodes, I mean, the crimes and stuff, they sort of ground. I mean, some of the stuff, like, I can't imagine anybody in real life actually being that clever to do. Like in the premiere episode, how the guy was killed on the roller coaster, how he had like a rope wrapped around his neck, and then the rope caught as the roller coaster came out and the head went flying off. I can't imagine anybody in real life actually being that smart and actually going to that trouble. That being said,
yeah.
I mean, that being said, I mean, like whenever they explained it and all, it made sense, and like it was kind of like how they reveal how the crimes were done. Like it's weird. Like it's oddly a little bit grounded in that like it makes sense and like you can kind of understand it. But again, like I don't know how many people out there like who would like be committing those crimes would actually do it that way because some of the stuff is like really involved.
That is true. That is very true, because in real life, I'm not saying all of them, but most of the killers are not that smart.
No,
like because like this typical TV shows, they usually give like they usually represent killers who are like very intelligent, who like who like very strategically create a murder in a way that they will basically either will be very difficult, basically kind of like target, basically point to them, or they will try their best to basically never actually pointing at them. Like in real life, those kind of like killers are like very rare.
Yeah,
and they're like literally they're like diamonds in a rough. Like those types of killers, like they're very few, not just simply today, but like throughout human history. There are very few who are like incredibly smart. Most of them, I do agree, they're not that clever. Now when it comes to me, I don't know if you've seen this episode, but there's one killer who actually I kind of felt sorry for him, and that was the whole piano murder. where in the end, basically, the killer threw Conan out of the window, and the last thing you see is the house on fire and someone and the killer playing the piano.
Okay. I'm trying to remember that one.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, the whole twist was like it was basically it was basically repeating the death of like a very famous. I think he was like a piano player and a songwriter who basically died the same way as the murderer. Basically, surrounded with fire by playing like his symphony and everything. So, and basically, like even after all the revelations and everything, which basically all center around this music notes, basically. No, composition. That's what I was looking for. That word. It all centered around this composition, basically, and also with the revelation that this killer, who basically was a man dressed up as a woman, who was also revealed to be the son of this artist who died in a fire, basically. And it was all about, again, I kind of remember it through like vaguely, but I know there was something to do with like the reason why he murdered specific people is because like he wanted to like avenge his like father's legacy or something. Again, I remember very vaguely, but the one of the strongest parts I remember is the speech between Conan and this murderer, while basically the entire house was on fire. You see like the murderer like being on the piano, like by the way, in a very psychotic way. He does, he looks like his eyes are like are like staring like wildly open. And he's like this, like playing with the tunes, and basically Conan comes with the composition and everything. They kind of and kind of like everything is revealed, and Conan is trying to save him. Basically coming out of the fire and everything. But basically the killer is like, look, I did what I did. I went too far. There's no coming back for me. And the last thing you see is he grabs Conan and throws him out the window. And basically Rachel grabs him. And the last thing you see, you hear is the killer playing the piano, the same notes as his father. He's playing the piano while the entire building is on fire. Like, yeah, I mean, it's bizarre, is creepy at sometimes, but also at the same time very poetic. And this character was the only killer that I really felt sorry for, and also one of those killers that actually accepted his fate.
Yeah.
I mean,
hold up, give me 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all.
Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, what a way to go. Playing the piano while also being barbecued. Wow. It must have been a short concert, but sure, it must have been a crispy one. Yeah. Which basically gives you a life lesson. Never have any candles or any fire whatsoever in the room where you're playing the piano. No matter how far it makes the room romantic, don't have anything light up. Otherwise, well, you know what's going to happen. Diddly-doo. Oh man. I mean, it's kind of while I'm waiting. I mean, like I really like the anime as far as I remember. I really like the anime. I thought I do agree with TK that it's very creative. I really like most of the characters, the villains also, but it's so long, so long, and there's so many things in it. I really think they're wasted. Man, like like at one point they're like concentrating the main storyline, and then like back to solving murder. Then they go one more time with the main story. Then also again going back to solving murder. I'm like, I don't know. It kind of makes you feel like the mangaka when he was like doing the story, where like he was like I make Conan solving some crimes. Now I'm gonna go to the main storyline. And then basically he goes to like some other block or something, and he's like, okay, oh my god, I don't know what to do. You know what? I'm going back to Conan solving murders and everything. And then basically another idea for the main storyline comes to him, tries to write it down, and then another block, and he's like, we're going back to murders, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. It kind of makes it feel like that. Awkward silence. But anyway, I'm really kind of curious to see if we're ever going to see Reiner Kurosuma, the main bad guy of the entire Case Closed series, the leader of the Crow organization, also known as that person as well. I'm really kind of curious, like, if we ever going to see him. I mean, the only thing I do remember about, like, when it comes to like Reiner Kurosuma was that fucking I don't know which episode it was, but I know it was like a message to Vermouth, the girl, the woman, and I know it was something to do with like it was like him giving her like too much freedom or something, and basically kind of saying like, come to my side or die. It's kind of like that. It kind of felt more like a fucking like a threat or something. Yep. Oh man. Yeah, but basically, like I said to TK, like Reiner Kurosuma is gonna definitely be like Case Closed version of the Penguin, and for Conan, basically his own Professor Moriarty. End the conversation.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. Looks and Odie. Oh man. No, I'm sorry. I was kind of like talking to myself. I was kind of like looking at the. I was kind of like looking at the opening of 59, where basically they revealed Reiner Kurosuma's sort of design. Yeah. I mean, like, and I think like because of being so long, I think like that's one of the reasons why I stopped watching Case Closed. Because like one point, because I when I was talking to myself, like literally, I just said, like I don't care. I'm just gonna repeat myself. Basically, when I was talking to myself, I was basically saying that it kind of feels like the mangaka basically had like an every time when he's like concentrating on the main plot, he has like sort of like an author's block. He's like, okay, I'm gonna make Conan solve some murders. Okay, now we're going to the main storyline. He does a little bit of the storyline, and he's like, oh man, I'm blocked now. Oh my god, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I know. I'm gonna bring Conan back solving murders. He does that. And then like, okay, now we're going back to the main storyline. Yeah, I have some new ideas. He writes down the main storyline. Fuck, I got blocked again. What I was writing about? You know what? I'm gonna go back to the murders. Like it literally feels like that. Oh man.
Yeah, you're right though. It does go on long. It is very easy to lose interest in the show. I think it's a cool concept, but they don't really do much to keep you hooked.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you want to keep hooked, let's put it that way. If you want to keep hooked to Case Closed, one of the main elements that you have to use to keep people hooked is basically keeping up with the main storyline.
Yeah.
If you just simply continue with like filler episodes and bits and pieces of the main storyline, people will get bored, and they will abandon Case Closed immediately. Now, I know the Case Closed has a lot of different fans. I know it does. I know the anime and manga does have a lot of different fans. That's great. But for me personally, like it's just way too long, and like I said multiple times, it concentrates on the main plot way less than it should.
Yeah.
So that's why I said if I was the author, I would say, okay, I'll start with the origin of Jimmy Kudo, then basically kind of like doing a little bit of the murders, and then basically after that, I would simply go with the main story. And basically pepper a little bit like bits and pieces of the main storyline throughout these murders.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's basically how I would do this and everything. Now, one of the crazy thing is, and that's like literally what drives me nuts, is that some of the Case Closed storylines are told through Case Closed movies.
Yes.
And that also drives me nuts.
Yes.
Because a lot of my friends who are fans of Case Closed, they told me that if you want to watch those movies, there are some things you have to know first before you watch it.
Yes.
And I'm like, why? I'm like, couldn't he just told that storyline through the episodes instead of like going with a fucking movie? I'm like, man. I mean, like the only movie I appreciated was basically the Lupin III and Conan crossover. That's the only movie I appreciated. But everything else, it was like all the stories they told. I mean, not all of them, some of them. They could have easily told them throughout the episodes. But I will say, I really like the Sherlock Holmes Conan movie.
Wait, which one?
I know that they show Professor Moriarty in that. Let me just find it. Let me see. Case closed. There's a website where I will where kind of like easiest way I find some informations. Okay, movie. Okay, The Scarlet Bullet. Now, open the fervors the Fist of Blue Sapphire, Darkest Nightmare. Ooh. I'm trying to find to see. There it is. There it is. Now I remember. It's called Detective Conan: The Phantom of Baker Street.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that's a show, like a movie where basically one of the few centers is Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Yeah, it also kind of involves also Professor Moriarty a bit. You also have Jack the Ripper involved as well. But it's also one of the most interesting, at least for me, Case Closed movies. And it kind of goes away from like the main storyline and the anime in general.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. But one of the things I really found crazy is that when I saw Sherlock Holmes, he fucking looked like Jimmy Kudo. It's like the writers were trying to say, well, what if Sherlock Holmes is an ancestor of Jimmy Kudo? Sure, yeah, from Great Britain to Japan. Classic. Nicely done. Oh my. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but like that's how it is. Oh man. Which kind of brings me to this. We kind of mentioned that before, but the question: when will it all end? I mean, that's kind of like the main question, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing: as long as the production company or whoever is running it wants it to go on, it'll go on.
Yeah, but that's also what worries me.
Yeah. No, it's that my prediction is it is going to be like Pokemon insofar as it's never really going to have a resolution. I hope I'm wrong about that, but I just don't see it ending. I just see them chugging along with it until like it gets canceled, which I mean a lot of shows do that. But I don't know. That's what I think is going to happen. What about you?
The crazy thing about it is that one of my friends actually read Case Closed, the manga, and it actually one of my friends actually told me that the Case Closed manga actually follows the main storyline way more deep, way more quickly, and way more deeper than the actual anime. That's at least like what my friend told me. Like like he told me that basically the waiting it is long, but he told
Yeah.
me it's not that long as the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I know maybe I will try to read the manga. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that will make it much more quicker. I don't know.
I think the manga is a lot better. I mean, I think in a lot.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. I think in a lot of cases the manga is better than the anime.
So so does it follow the main storyline a little bit quicker than the anime?
It does.
The way how you said it worries me.
It does. I mean, I like the manga better just because I'm a manga person. I
Fair
think
enough.
it has a lot better details. I mean, I don't know.
Now,
I do think it's a little bit better, but I mean, I'm a fan of books over TV shows and movies. I think they usually do a better job.
okay, so so then my question is this: uh, like, okay, first and foremost, like since you have read the manga so far, does the manga again? I'll try to repeat my question for this one, but does the manga follow the storyline a little more quickly than the anime or not?
Yeah, I would say it does.
Okay, okay, all right. Okay, so my next question is: does the manga have as many murders as the anime does?
Yeah,
So it's basically the number of murders that happen in the anime is equal to the manga.
yeah, more or less. Yeah,
Okay, okay. And last question: is the revelation of the villain in the manga already been revealed, or is still a silhouette?
I think he's still a silhouette.
Shit. Oh man. Okay, I just wanted to ask this, but also story wise, does anyone find out that Conan is Jimmy Kudo?
Um, Aside from the people we talked about earlier, no, I don't think so. No.
Okay, so basically, there's not much of a difference.
You know, there's not a huge difference. I mean, honestly, I think that I think they do. I think if they're smart, they will figure out a way to wrap it up and like make an end game and like wrap up the show and like make like sort of give like a conclusion or something to it. Um, if they're smart, they'll do that. Um, I think they could easily do that. I just don't know if they're gonna. I just don't. I think as long as it keeps getting renewed, as long as it keeps making some kind of money, I think they'll keep going with it.
Yeah, I get you. Now, going back to the question, when will it all end? Well, from the informations I gathered, from like at least the way how the anime is going now. Now, again, I could be wrong. Like, I don't have any sources. I'm not 100% sure or anything. But from what I gathered, it looks like now, Case Closed actually will finally go more towards the main storyline than what it was before. I mean, it would be a fucking miracle after like 1,100 episodes. But I will say this: I think when will it all end? In my guts, I think it will be soon. I mean, I'm not saying too soon. I'm saying like it will end soon. I don't think it will last like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years. I think like approximately, I think it will last like maybe 2 to 3 years. Okay, I'm going maximum. I think it will last 4 years, more maximum, for at least for me. And when it will all end, basically. Again, I'm going back to the part of the story where basically I think Jimmy Kudo will return back to normal, and he will definitely have a final confrontation with the Black Organization. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think it's going to be with the main leader, or it's going to be with the other agents? I don't know. I mean, the guy is 99. The guy is 99 years old, so I don't think he's still able to fight. Well, unless he's some kind of a cybernetic, weaponized wheelchair or something. Maybe then he has a chance. But I think like definitely he will have a confrontation with the main leader for sure. But here's a crazy theory I have. How much are you familiar with Sherlock Holmes?
Okay, Sherlock Holmes. I'm pretty familiar with it.
Have you ever written one of his books?
Yes.
Have you read The Final Problem?
Yes. Oh, I think I know where you're going.
And do you know how the story goes?
Yes.
With the waterfall, the confrontation between Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes. Okay. Yeah. So hear me out. What if the mangaka does a sort of his own version of that? Like, let me make it. Okay, that's the way how I see it in my head. He does have a confrontation with the old man. He does have a confrontation with the main leader. But before that, before the main endgame, Jimmy Kudo returns back to normal as an adult. Not like at the very end, but before that. Before the main end, he returns back to normal. Let's just say before the final confrontation. And basically, okay, I'm just gonna going like wild here, but let's just say they have a full-on attack on the main headquarters of Black, which is basically this mansion that perhaps this Karasuma guy has. They invade there. They have a confrontation with the Black Organization. I think by that time, I think Vermont will be on Conan's side and fighting against Gene, Vodka, and the others. And Jimmy Kudo has a confrontation with Karasuma. Now, in my personal opinion, because and that's one of the problems that Case Closed has, no higher stakes.
Yeah.
But this time, if it goes the way how I think it will go, the stakes will be higher, will be very high this time. And I think in order to save Rachel and the others, because even though he met especially the kids, even though he met them when when he was a kid and everything, when he became an adult, they're still very close to him. He still sees them as his friends. So I think as his final, I think this might be his final case. And I think with this final confrontation, I think he will sacrifice himself. And I think because think about it. He's based on Sherlock Holmes. His name is Conan, as Arthur Conan Doyle. Karasuma, this guy with the Black Organization, he's basically his Professor Moriarty.
Yeah.
He's basically a Case Closed version of Napoleon of Crime, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, he's mysterious. I kind of bet he's also very mysterious in the criminal underworld. No one has ever seen him so far. Basically, even Karasuma's character becomes very similar to who Professor Moriarty was. Like I said, He like just like Professor Moriarty. Karasuma is the top dog in the criminal underworld. No one has seen him. He's very mysterious. Echoes and re-echoes throughout the entire underworld. Like he was never caught. Only his agents were caught. Again, parallel between Moriarty and him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. I think he will have a confrontation with Karasuma, and I think both of them will meet their end. But unlike Arthur Conan Doyle's story, where basically Sherlock Holmes survives, I think Conan might actually die.
Interesting. I mean, that show does take a lot of inspiration from Sherlock Holmes and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So I could see that happening. I could see them doing it that way.
But instead of, like I said, instead of Conan actually surviving in the end, I think he might actually kill him off.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be an interesting idea, killing him off. I mean, it would definitely add stakes.
Absolutely.
Which I think they 100% would need.
Because if he took inspiration from Sherlock Holmes, I think that this final confrontation, or should I say this final arc, is how anime works. I think this time it will literally be basically one against the other. Because again, I'm not saying it's gonna be the same as the final problem story, but like I think like this time might be one against the other in a way that Karasuma, so he could continue his criminal empire. He's gonna hunt to basically destroy Conan.
Yeah.
So he will never get in his way again. Again, it might sound simple, but that's the way how I am imagining it. When will it all end and everything? Like so, and can I basically telling you when I was talking about the final confrontation in my head? Okay, literally in my head, I was imagining that basically they were fighting against each other on in his mansion, and outside the mansion, I was kind of imagining dark clouds, like thunder, and then fighting each other and everything. Again, I know he's 99 years old, the main leader and everything, but I was kind of imagining to have sort of like a grounded confrontation, and basically in my head, like the entire mansion is is gonna blow up, basically. And it's kind of step by step the bombs are getting activated, and it's kind of the mansion is kind of destroying itself piece by piece. And then basically the last explosion breaks the mansion apart, and basically one part falls off the edge. And on that edge, you have Conan and the main leader, kind of fighting. And the last glimpse before he falls, you see Rachel and Jimmy have this one last look at each other before he falls down. And that's literally how I'm imagining it in my head right now.
I could see that.
It sounds dramatic. It sounds like a type of storytelling that people have seen already. But for a story like that, I think it fits. Because one of the reasons why I love anime and manga is that especially when they base their series or story from a franchise that already exists, or even a book, they try to follow the story step by step.
Yeah.
But every single time, if it's like the ending or some similar twists, they always bring on their own twists to the story, like to basically in their own eyes, their own minds, try to make it better. So that's why I'm saying, you might think where the story is going, but in the end, there will be a twist that only the mangakas or anime industry usually add.
Yeah, I think they'd have to do that, because if they did like a carbon copy of the final problem, I don't think it would work. I mean, it's not that it wouldn't work. I think it would just be too repetitive. I think they need to do something they need to do something to make it different.
Can I also add one thing? I really hope when Karasuma is revealed, I really hope, just like Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty had in the final problem, I really hope that Karasuma and Conan actually meet face to face. Where basically, and again, not for fighting, but like to have a conversation. Like again, with Conan, it might be even through a TV screen or something. But like, I would love, you know, which scene I'm talking about.
Yes.
You know that scene where basically after the whole business in France with the Mona Lisa thing, do you know like that scene where basically Moriarty was waiting for Sherlock Holmes in his office, in his house?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the kind of scene I would love to see Karasuma and Conan do. You know, now I don't. I'm not saying that he needs to visit him in his house or something, but something similar. You know, and will be also cool if the mangaka or just like in the manga and the anime, I would love to see Kurosuma say that famous quote that Moriarty said to Sherlock Holmes, which is basically this. And again, I love saying that quote. I love it. This is a duel between you and me, Mr. Holmes. You hope to place me in the dark. You hope to beat me. If you are clever enough to bring destruction upon me, then rest assured, I shall do as much for you. Like that would be so cool if they brought us like a version of this dialogue with Karasuma and Conan. I mean, would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be really cool. I could kind of hear that too.
I would love like especially like hearing it in Japanese. I would love hearing that dialogue where basically it's like a compliment, but at the same time is a threat. I just love. I mean, I just really love that. So I'm really hoping that if when the time comes, I hope they do something similar to that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they have a way to end it. I just think they need to like take the way to end it.
Because here's the crazy thing. Again, the comparison again with the comparison between Sherlock Holmes and Conan. Think about it. Each and every time in the books or any other like TV show or movie that Sherlock Holmes was involved, basically, who are basically, especially the cases that involve Professor Moriarty, who were always the villains? His agents.
Mm-hmm.
He was either mentioned or he talked with them, but like in shadows. You don't see him. Moriarty in the books, he was mentioned I think like 2 or 3 times throughout the books until the final problem, because that's where his first official appearance was. So my theory is, I think we will continue onward alongside the black organization agents,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the time comes for the final arc or saga, that's when Karasuma will be revealed.
Yeah, that would. Yeah,
Because think about it. There's a lot of similar patterns between Sherlock Holmes and Conan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
with everything I just said, I mean, what are your personal thoughts about it?
Yeah, I agree. I think there are a lot of similarities. I think that I'm trying to think. I mean, I think doing see what I'm having trouble figuring out, like if you do like a final like arc, I mean with how Case Closed does it, they'll end up doing like 3 final arcs.
Yeah, I mean, because like Conan, Case Closed is the same way as like I think like all the other animes. Like their storylines, they're always divide them in arcs or sagas.
I do think they need to kill off somebody else though, like to raise the stakes. I would kill off either Agasa or Richard.
And here's the thing: I always now when we talk about when it comes to like case closed, don't you think Agasa might be like their own version of Watson?
Yeah, he could be.
Because honestly, because like if Conan is like Sherlock Holmes, I think the Doctor Agasa, I think this character might be like he's Watson.
I mean, I like Agasa. He's a good character.
And the Junior Detective League are basically the kids on the streets that the Sherlock Holmes sometimes would hire in his adventures.
Yes.
I mean, do you understand the patterns I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can see that.
So yeah, but again, I think when it comes to how will it all end or when, I think like Conan will meet his end.
I do think we have a better shot of getting a Dragon Ball Super Season 2 than getting a Case Closed ending.
Yeah, I do agree, but even Dragon Ball Super continuation is a long shot, just like Case Closed.
Oh, I think
But I
Dragon
get the
Ball.
point.
I think Dragon Ball Super Season 2. I think it's going to happen. I just think it's a matter of when. And the thing is, like, it.
From the
The
sorry,
thing is, I don't. The thing is, I don't care if they come out and I don't care if they come out like in the spring and say, "Yeah, it's going to happen. We're working on it now. It won't be out till 2032." I'll wait. I don't care. Just give me a time.
well, the thing is, with the informations I gathered, Dragon Ball Super actually like the continuation. I think actually might happen, especially with the new like news I've heard of. But I don't think it will happen very soon. But for what I've heard, it looks like there's a big chance to actually happen. But when it comes to the case closed, again, I think like maximum, I think it will last like 4 more years, and that's it. I'm not I'm telling you, I don't think they will continue like another 10 years or something. Like no, I think it will finish
No, no, I,
between 2 years and 4 years.
no. I think they. I think that's what they have to do. I think they're either going to finish because they have a series finale and they wrap it up themselves, or they're going to people are going to lose interest and they're going to get canceled. I think it's going to be one of the two. I hope it's the first one that they're able to figure out a series finale, and they're able to do that. I hope they don't just get canceled because I don't think that's going to be satisfying for anyone. Um,
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I mean, some of my friends believe that the case closed actually might end in their calculations. They believe like in the next like 5 to 6 years, which basically means that like basically the overall ending would be somewhere between 2035. Again,
uh,
not that. I mean, again, very possible. Go ahead.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I might probably do between yours and theirs. I might say probably 4 to 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I do agree. Like, because again, I'm still staying with my theory that it's gonna be like 4 years. Okay, maybe five. I think like after that, I think it will be too much.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I do agree. They will either write an actual ending or they will just simply cancel it.
Yeah. I mean, and my guess is a show that's been on that long. My guess is they have a roadmap for an ending. Um, so my guess is they have like a way they are like sort of like envision ending it. Um, it's just a matter of will they actually do it.
Yeah, and also correct me if I'm wrong, but Conan actually does return to normal several times.
Yeah,
I remember I remember like one of the reasons was like mixing alcohol with a cold or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah. So again, another plot point that could be explored, but also again very slowly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That show does nothing quick.
Yeah.
I remember you
True.
and Paulie on the Ladybug live stream, like talked about how how Ladybug was like it took a while to do things sometimes. Uh, compared to Case Closed, I think it moves at the speed of light.
Honestly, case closed. I could have finished this story in like I would say 500 episodes.
Yeah.
I could have.
You could have easily finished that within like. Over here, it ran, at least that I know of. I forget how many seasons, but you could have finished it like in the like 1995 to 2009 run or whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, can I ask? Can I ask you a question? Like, do you think Case Closed, for example, do you think Case Closed could be adaptable if they decide to do it like live action, let's just say on Netflix?
I think it could be. Yeah, I think it could be.
I mean, Case Closed is a very simple. It has like a very simple style, traditional. The story is also very simple, easy to follow. There's nothing in it that is like over the top or like let's say on the level like Dragon Ball or One Piece, like something like that. Like I think like Case Closed could be adaptable, but one thing for certain, they would definitely make it way shorter than what the anime is.
Yeah, they'd have to
way shorter.
They'd have to really streamline it, but I could see them doing that.
Because here's the thing, like just like Cowboy Bebop and One Piece, like season 1, Case Closed per season will definitely have like let's just say 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And each and every episode might be like from an hour to like 55 minutes long.
Yeah.
Which means that if they do a live action adaptation of Case Closed, it will definitely mean that they will have to concentrate primarily to the main storyline.
Yeah.
And basically throw some murders on the road, basically.
Yeah.
But primarily concentrate on the main storyline, which for me personally, it will be way better.
I could see them doing that.
Because in doing that, they will finish the story way more quickly.
Yeah. I could definitely see them doing that. I mean, that would be a really easy anime to update. Or, I mean, not update. That would be an easy anime to adapt into live action. It would work.
It would be quite an update. That's for sure.
Of course, the other thing though, you're probably going to disagree with this, but the other thing I would like to see, maybe Netflix, some streaming thing, if they could get it right, I would like to see them try Dragon Ball.
Well, I mean, since they're successful with One Piece, I mean, I don't doubt it that they could do also Dragon Ball. But here's the catch. Now that Akira Toriyama is no longer with us, well, they can basically do whatever they want.
That's true.
Unless, I don't know if Akira Toriyama actually does have any family. But if Akira Toriyama, let's just say, if Akira Toriyama has a family, the only possible solution how it could be controllable is if, for example, his family is basically controlling his work.
That's true. Although I will say, anime fans are really harsh judges.
Yeah, I mean, trust me. When One Piece basically got developed in a live action series, believe me, I know when it comes to harsh judging. I know what it means. Oh my god! I mean, again, I don't want to go into details, but like for season 2, when they do you know the character Nefertari Vivi from the Desert Kingdom Alabasta?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
With the blue hair.
Yeah.
Okay. When the casting they did for her, which by the way she was handpicked by Oda, the creator of One Piece. Oh man, I cannot start to describe the overall controversy surrounding the casting. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. It was the complaints basically that for me, basically my point of view, are completely unnecessary. And there's lots of reasons, but again, I'm gonna tell you that in private. Yep. So before we end this live stream, do you have anything more to say?
I don't think so. I think I said everything.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was basically a normal conversation. We didn't actually had any specific topics and everything, because again, you're way more familiar with the anime than I am. So that's why I meant that you're gonna take like a sort of like a major control and everything, sort of. So I think we can close it down for today. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right then. So, do you have any last words?
Vote on your favorite co-host.
I think it would be way more fair if there was like four or five of us. Do you have a problem with your figure? Okay. With that being said, we've come to an end to another Shadow Council episode, guys. I mean, I hope you have enjoyed our little conversation about case codes that basically went all over the place. You guys know the drill. Rate the video, comment, like, subscribe, give your personal thoughts and ideas. What do you personally think of Case Closed? How were you basically introduced with it? Was it like through manga or anime first? Everything about the characters, the villains, how you think Case Closed will end and when. Basically, everything about Case Closed in general, just put in the comment section down below. Also, if you're interested to see previous Shadow Council episodes, the link will be in the video description as well.
Vote on your favorite co-host.
Please just do that, okay? So I will not hear him say that in the future. Okay?
Oh,
yeah,
one
please.
other thing. Mephisto is here.
No comment. Anyway, like always, before it's too late, okay, I'm just going to say Lord of Shadows signing off.
TK the lucky bastard out.
And as I love to say it, later, fuckers.